Alright, good morning ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It looked like today's car park was pretty much empty almost. So yeah, we're on the treadmill again because right now it's one of those days. Yesterday we did lots of scouting, but it didn't work. Yeah, today's literally got nothing, no, sorry. Today's got really nothing to do because yesterday we edited Earthlog. We also uploaded the StarCraft 2 done. We also uploaded and then we also timestamped Character Isles episode 4, and then we also edited the highlight. So the entire stream was like 3 hours and 50 minutes, and I managed to cut it down into an hour and 12. So around that, yeah, editing the actual video took me like 2.5 hours more. So it took me that long to extract the goodies from this catch. But besides that, everything else is coming with us. Wait, am I even? I think I'm dreaming, huh? Because like that, did it even make any sense? I don't even know. Is today special? I don't even know if today's a special day or not. But there's literally no one here today. It's interesting. Like this place literally looks like it's just us. I don't know. There's nothing on the calendar that says that today's special. This is probably good. This is probably good golden hour, but I don't know. I haven't really seen anything today. Really, just been super quiet. But golden hour's been pretty good today. I don't know why we haven't seen anything. I think it's because we're not really like sleepy. I think. Like, there's nothing to edit today besides like one vlog. What did we do? What did I even do yesterday? Yes, yesterday we basically created a story, and it took like hours. But yeah, today's golden hour is really good, but I just have nothing to say. I don't know. I think we're still in silent mode. Yesterday we didn't even do a single stream. Matter of fact, I didn't even make a single video. We did not make a video. We didn't stream. All we did was just edit the highlights. It took a while to do highlights, and then I guess after that, we basically just talked and created like a mini story. Oh no, it's a continuation of something else. But yeah, I guess yesterday we kind of crafted like a mini novel. I guess you could call it that. Definitely going to like extract it. And I want to actually like write it down into like an actual. I'm gonna have to like actually keep it into like an actual. What is it called? Wattpad. I'm actually gonna do that today. I'm gonna like upload the story. I'm gonna have to like edit it though. But it's a pretty good, interesting story. It took us like I actually spent like maybe 5 hours on it. I don't know. I was just kind of just playing through the story. I think it's because, like I said, content creation, right? But like, there's nothing to watch because watching is like consuming. So instead of consuming, we just create. So we just created like a very long story, basically just about some kind of fantasy continuation of this anime or something like that. yeah, so water's done. We're gonna go check the weight. We're probably like 72 kgs now. Because the rice we ate yesterday is definitely still in our body. 100% the rice is still in our body. So I highly doubt with that just anything. I mean, we have. Yeah, we are like really full right now. I know we're like 72 kgs because the rice is still in our body. Because we ate food a bit later. Anyways, yeah, it took like 2 hours and 30 minutes to edit the highlights, by the way. And today's episode is just really silent because I don't know, there's nothing really to say. It's one of those lock-in days, you know what I mean? That's that's kind of bad. I don't know what's going on. How am I so off my predictions? 70.5? That's 1.5 kgs difference of my predictions. So that's pretty bad that's my fault. Whoops. Anyway, we're on like 3 5s. I guess I'll talk at the end, but yeah. So today was like pretty not really anything to say, so therefore the fact that we have said nothing, we're gonna have to make a story video. Yep, that's all good though. What else is there to really say? You know, yesterday we basically just created a story. That's it. So today we're probably gonna maybe edit it and start updating it, see if any people, yeah, something like that. And then, what else is there? What else is there? Yeah, we could do Overwatch. I don't want to play StarCraft anymore. I think I actually got bored of StarCraft already. Because it really is just repetitive, huh? Well, kind of. Yeah, we could do Overwatch. We haven't even got into rank or competitive yet. We need to win like a bit more games, but that should be pretty easy because we're pretty crack. Besides content creation, dude, there's so many things to produce. It's crazy. Like, one, our live stream popped off on Saturday. Then making these Earth vlogs are also very good. Making videos are very good. Now we can craft stories. That's all. I mean, I already have been crafting stories. That's good. Things like that.
GG, I'm lost in the woods. Where am I at? I took a random path down this way and I thought it was cool, but now I'm in the woods. Where am I? Hello? Hey, let's go exploring. Isn't this how those horror stories happen? Where we just travel the woods for no reason? Because that's what I'm doing right now, and I don't know what I'm doing, but you know, we're in the woods now. That's pretty cool, huh? I'm gonna record. Maybe we can find some tribes. Okay, we got like a homeless ditch over there. Cool. Cool, definitely gonna get jumped here or something. Okay, let's see what else is in these woods. We've done these horror stories many times before. I'm gonna keep going though, right? Where are we even going? I have no idea, but you know, we could easily get jumped here, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, the road continues. The road continues. Okay, we're in more woods. Where does this even end to? I don't know where this ends to, but we're gonna continue going. Big ditch, but it's okay because our car can easily handle that. Okay, let's continue. Let's see what else is around here. What else is around here? Don't tell me it's a dead end. Oh, it might not be a dead end. Oh, it continues going deeper into the woods, huh? It really does continue going deep into the woods. Oh my goodness, how long is this path? Let's continue, lock in. We are literally in the woods somewhere. I have no idea where we're at though, seriously. Should have checked the maps. Do we turn away or do we just reach the end? Do we continue going? I bet we should, huh? Where are we? Lost in the woods. Give way? Give way to where? No entry. Oh, are we just back on a normal public road? I think we might just be in a public road again. Okay, I need to go. Bye-bye. I guess it wasn't a dead end. What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. So, we're going to continue the story today because obviously today's Earth log didn't really have much data or any kind of framework or anything. So, we're going to continue from story 2 from last time we did this. So, 3 creepy true alone at work horror stories, alright? So, as we have already established that if you're a woman, you don't want to be alone. But if you're a man, it is what it is. Right, lock in. Let's go. Story number 2. Fun fact, it's been like I think 30 hours since we've pressed record on OBS, so yeah.
I work for the city as a type of general contractor for regular work that needs to be done around town. A lot of the kind of stuff I do is seasonal work, and this happened during winter, so a good portion of my shifts were driving the snowplow to clear all the roads.
Okay, so you're a snowplower, got it.
Even on the days it didn't snow, I'd be salting the roads or plowing the leftover snow that we didn't get to the days before. I always volunteered to switch over my shifts to night shifts around this time of year because it was way calmer and peaceful to plow the roads when it was dark and empty. This night, I clocked in at the warehouse at 10 p.m. There was a massive snowstorm coming through the town that had started a few hours ago. I quickly checked which sections of town I was assigned, then got the keys and hopped in the plow truck. Even the roads that I could tell had already been plowed were starting to get bad again, and the heavy snowfall made it really hard to see.
I mean, hey, that's your job, right? You volunteered to do the night shift. Fair enough, right? Hey, that's kind of chill. Snow plowing at night. Who's gonna stop you? What kind of car's gonna stop you? It's snowing anyways. Who's gonna be outside? Snowing.
Luckily, no one else seemed to be out on the roads. I made my way about 20 minutes down to the southeast part of town that I was assigned to plow. I had been doing this for years, so I knew all the sections like the back of my hand. This area was the older part of town, the neighborhoods that had been there for who knows how long. Some of the houses had been rebuilt or heavily renovated because so many people now had—
My apologies, my face cam's on the wrong spot. There you go.
Days moved there just for the land the houses sit on. It was much more quiet and spread out there. Only downside, at least for my job, was that the roads were thin. I'd call them 1.5 lane roads, wider than a single lane one-way road, but not wide enough for 2 cars to pass by each other without slowing down first. So obviously bringing the snowplow through there can be a bit difficult. At night, I usually didn't have to worry too much about it though. Anyway, when I got to the neighborhood, I began circling in and out of the streets, pushing the snow off the road. A big, spread out neighborhood like this takes a while. I was probably in the front of the neighborhood for almost 2 hours. I think I remember seeing it was close to 1 a.m. when I finished up and started making my way further in toward the back of the neighborhood. And that's when I pulled up behind a car. Nearly had to slam on the brakes, because in the storm I couldn't see them until they were just 30 feet ahead of me. It was some old beat-up dark red car, stopped right in the middle of the road. No way to get around this guy, even with a normal car. I waited a while, and the car didn't flash its hazards or move at all, so I thought he might have been stuck. I put the plow in park and hopped out, walking through the deep snow-covered street and up to the car. Just as I got a few feet away, the driver's side door swung open, and a man stepped out.
Hey, you need
As
help?
I started asking if he was stuck and needed help getting out, I noticed he looked really disturbing, not like anyone I'd seen before. He was very thin, his hair was disheveled, and his face looked exhausted, yet his eyes stayed wide open,
Drugs.
like he hadn't slept in days but was hopped up on caffeine. I switched my question over to, "Are you okay?" This guy did not look well at all. I took a couple steps closer to try and help, but he mumbled something under his breath. Couldn't hear it through the harsh winds. I said what, and he mumbled again. The man just said, "Leave." I said I was just trying to make sure he was okay, and this time he nearly yelled, "Leave." So I backed up, and by the time I'd gotten back into my plow truck, he had driven off. I didn't know what the hell was wrong with that guy, but I knew there was something wrong. I stayed parked there for a minute, debating on calling the cops just because of how strange it all was. But
What?
I didn't get his tag,
I mean, like, what the cops gonna do? It's snowing, no?
so I thought it wouldn't be useful anyway. Besides, he was probably just having a really bad night or something.
Mm-hmm.
I continued plowing the streets.
Yeah.
Went another 30 minutes not seeing anyone at all.
30 minutes.
Even the snow that was on the streets didn't have very many tire tracks going through them.
Uh-huh.
It looked like everyone had stayed in tonight to
What
weather
the-
out the snowstorm. I was back to just going through the motions at this point, plowing the calm roads and wondering when the snow would stop falling, when I had to hit my brakes again. It was that same car, the old red one, stopped right in the middle of the street. This was a different spot from before, though. I looked around, and there was only one house on this part of the road. After 30 seconds of waiting, I tapped on the horn, but got nothing in return. He stayed parked right there in the road. This time, I decided it was too strange and got on the line with the police to report this really unusual behavior.
Okay.
The license plate was covered in snow, or maybe just by the blizzard. I couldn't tell, so I got out to get a closer look.
But why would you do it?
Pretty much just when I did, I saw through his windows that the car was empty. No one was in there.
He's better steal your car.
I kept the operator updated that I didn't know where the guy was. But then I heard something.
He's gonna come jump you.
A scream, faintly cutting through the wind.
Oh, he
It
killed
came
someone.
from the house right off the road.
Oh, assassination.
I took a few steps closer, unsure if I'd heard it correctly. And that's when I heard it again, and saw that the front door was wide open. I sort of put the pieces together of the man being gone and the house being open,
Uh-huh.
and knew something horrible was going on.
Murder.
I called out as I started running through the deep snow to get up to the front door.
Oh, what are you doing?
I told the operator everything that was going on.
He's dead.
And of course, they told me to wait in the truck for an officer to get there.
Yeah. Where's your gun?
I didn't listen.
Ah.
I went up to the front door,
GG.
and the inside of the house was dark, aside from a hallway light glowing from upstairs.
Shit him on you.
And I could hear the
This guy's about to play hero. He's gonna play hero. Should have just got back in his truck, reported, and just left. I don't know, man. Unless you got like a gun, right? GG.
horrifying screams of a woman calling for help, muffled by the sounds of someone slamming their body into the bedroom door. I hurried up the staircase and found the disturbing looking guy trying to break down the door, slamming his shoulder into it, kicking it, and doing everything he could to get it open. He didn't even turn to look at me or stop when I approached him. Wasn't until I pulled him away that he started fighting back. I was able to get control of him, enough to keep him away from the door. The guy was completely losing it, and I hadn't noticed until I managed to pin him to the ground that there was a knife on the floor at the other end of the hallway. I think in the struggle, he had tried to grab it from his pocket at some point and lost control of it before he could do anything.
Gamble.
I knew the moment I saw it that I had gotten really lucky. Few minutes later, he ran out of energy and couldn't fight much more, and when police arrived, they cuffed him and brought him in. Now, I think most of what happened is pretty easy to put together, but I still feel like I didn't get a lot of specifics from the officers in the weeks afterward. All I know is the house he broke into was his ex-wife's house, where I guess he also used to live. Probably lost it in the divorce and lost his mind as well. That's all the details I managed to get. I still feel slightly guilty for not calling the police the first time I saw him, because I did have a bad feeling about him. I just didn't think it could have possibly been that bad.
I don't know, man. That's super gamble. It's a very gamble situation. I'm pretty sure the first one was also a gamble situation, wasn't it? Yeah, the first one was a gamble situation. This is also a gamble situation. Like, you're putting yourself into an ecosystem that wasn't really your business to begin with. I don't know, man. Not sure about that. You know, he could have had a gun and just turn to you and just like one shot you and then continue. You know what I mean? Very big gamble. Very big gamble. Now, in this situation, would you really call the police? Honestly, it would really depend. Because the first time that happens, I wouldn't really call the police. I would just kind of just drive around them or reverse. Be like, oh, okay, cool, strange. Second time you see it, the car, it's like, yeah, okay, you can report it, but at the same time, here's the deal with calling the police though. It would be on such a low priority list that they wouldn't care. But the fact that you mentioned that the house was open and you heard screaming, then the priority list jumped. I already said this many times, but you know, priority list. If you just reported the car like that, it would be such a low priority list the police wouldn't give a damn. But then when you mentioned there's a woman screaming in the house, then sure, the priority list gets higher. And the fact that you went in there yourself, then they came in. Right? So, priority list stuff. Right? Let's go to the third story, shall we?
Thankfully, everyone managed to be okay.
Third story, let's go. Last one. We should do another one too.
Recently, I picked up a job doing overnight deliveries. There's a few companies that hire people to do this, and having been an Uber driver for the last several years, I thought this would be a good change.
I mean, hey, if you've already been doing Uber at night, then delivery work's like safer, no? Delivery work should be way easier than Uber, right? It really depends. Would really depend, but yeah, doing deliveries or stuff at night's much easier because of traffic.
The official title of this kind of job is flex drivers, meaning you use your own car and deliver stuff on a flexible schedule. I always did overnights for the extra pay and the ease of the work. 99% of what I did was picking up Amazon packages and delivering it to houses throughout the town. I think because it was sort of a new thing, it was never really well planned in the system. Like, all the deliveries were often far from each other. On this night, I had started late, around 11ish, and went straight to the warehouse to get my packages, then started heading to the delivery locations. First few went well, nothing special to note, but my next delivery was really far out, about 40 minutes from the previous one.
That's crazy.
Which I'm getting paid for it, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, good
But
then.
still, a long drive is a long drive just for a single delivery.
Hey, but you just said you're getting paid for it, so it is what it is, right? That's just cash right there. No problem. You get paid more. You get paid for the entire ride. Oh, okay, that's easy. You're just getting paid to drive. That's hella chill.
I made my way all the way out there, passing through the shady part of town that I wasn't too familiar with. I saw on the label that it had a unit number on the address, which is a telltale sign that it's going to be an apartment complex.
Mm-hmm.
Often there's package rooms to leave them in, or special directions of some kind that somehow always caused issues, like not being able to access the package room, or not being able to find the right unit. When I pulled up to the address, I knew it was going to have one of these issues. The building was old and looked like it should have been torn down years ago, but a few apartment lights were on in the windows. It was very still outside. I didn't see anyone around. I got the package and stepped out, walking around the building to the package room. But of course the door was locked, and there was no code on the order. So I walked back around to the main entrance to the apartment building, but the lobby was locked as well. In cases like these, I just drop it off outside the door. However, in the 30 seconds I was out there, a man came up to me.
Wouldn't you like... It really depends on the system, right? But if you can't access the room and you can't access the lobby, why would you leave the package out in the front? Because then now anyone can just take it. What usually happens in New Zealand is that they leave a slip on your door or a slip somewhere. It really depends.
He was tall, with a thick winter jacket on, and looked maybe 50-ish with a gray beard. At first, he just walked up and said, "How's it going?" So I nodded and moved aside, assuming he was trying to get into the building. But the man stopped right next to me and just stood there for a second.
Yo, hold up, back
I
off, bro.
said sorry and stepped further back, saying he could go in and that I was just dropping off a package. The man said no worries and asked how my night was going, still standing in the same spot.
Man, why trust
That's
small
when
talk?
I realized he was actually trying to talk to me and start a conversation,
Like, bro, what you
which
done?
was pretty weird,
I'm working.
given we were alone out there at like 2 in the morning.
Yeah, leave me alone.
I confusedly said my night was alright,
it
and
was
I was
fine.
just doing some deliveries,
Just didn't work.
making up that I was running behind and had to go. I started walking back to my car, but heard him start asking about my job, like he didn't hear that I just said I had to go.
Man,
I
just ignore
heard him take a couple steps behind me before I got in my car and pulled away, leaving the parking lot. I didn't know what that was, but knowing that I was in a shady area of town had me a little more worried about it. At least I got away, though. I pulled over a few minutes down the road to situate the other packages and figure out what was next. I found one of them that was 15 minutes from me. I put my blinker on to get back onto the road, seeing a car coming up in my mirror and waiting for them to pass so I can merge back in. But the car started slowing down until I realized it was pulling off to the shoulder right behind me.
Yeah,
I
pull
didn't
out.
bother staying and just got back onto the road and continued to the next address. Thought it had to be a coincidence.
Ooh, wait, that does happen in real life sometimes. Like, I heard that if you do deliveries at night, it really depends, but, you know, really depends, but, you know, technically, someone, if you're doing like a rural place, right, people would like probably rob your van like it's like a cash van. So like they'll rob your van and steal the packages and stuff like that. That does happen sometimes where post office people get their van stolen and then they take everything inside. But I mean, it really, I don't think they did anymore because like, what kind of valuables are in the package anyways? It's a gamble, but yeah.
Just some strange night I was having.
He's following
I
you.
drove the 15 minutes, getting to the house. It was a regular home in a very typical neighborhood. I made sure I had the right box, then headed up the driveway and up to the door. And not 20 seconds later, I saw a light coming from down the road. I turned and glanced over my shoulder, seeing a car driving slowly along the street. And when it stopped right behind mine, my whole body went cold. I didn't ever get a good view of the car that tried to stop behind me before, but this was too much to be a coincidence. I was sure it had to be the same car from 15 minutes ago, and somehow, even then, I had never connected that it could have been the guy from the apartment complex. It seemed so impossible. But when I saw him looking at me through the window, I knew I needed to get out of there right away. I sprinted for my car. The man saw me running and pulled his car around, blocking the front of mine, and he got out just as I got in.
What?
His friendly, albeit creepy, face from before was gone. He looked pissed off. He ran up to my window and started punching it.
What?
I backed up to go around him, but he ran right in front of my car. The guy was screaming too. Nothing sensible though. It almost didn't even sound like English, just a mesh of random words that meant nothing. I started backing up more until I was far enough that he ran back to get in his car. Then I sped past him. I knew he'd follow, so I called 911 and desperately asked for help. An officer was nearby, so they told me to just keep driving and updating them on where I was.
True, smart.
At some point, I don't know if it was a minute or two after driving, I noticed the man behind me wasn't there anymore. I met up with an officer soon after that, and to be perfectly honest, I thought this was going to be a case where we never found out who he was.
They found
But I guess the guy was pretty stupid. He ordered the package that I delivered to the apartment complex, using a random fake address of one of the units, but still using his real name. They even found him the next day hanging around the complex still, and actually waiting on a different package, presumably to try again whatever it was he was doing. When they questioned him, he was described as a psychotic person that had no real reason for anything he was doing. And while that answer didn't satisfy me, that was that. It's scary knowing how quickly and randomly you can run into someone that has horrible intentions without even having motives. I think if I didn't get away, there would have been nothing I could do to stop him from doing whatever it was he was intending.
It is what it is. That situation there is pretty much just it is what it is, right? You know, you'll get crazies that will stalk you. That happens, right? So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was a 20-minute video. I mean, there wasn't really much to say, honestly. There's not really much framework in these videos recently. Maybe because I'm like dopamine bored or something like that, but nothing really interesting. Is there any more? Should we go find another one real quick? Let's see what's in the YouTube recommendations. There is Trucker Stories boring, Camping Stories boring, Alaskan what? Winter Camping boring. A Cold Night Alone? Okay. Shut up. Okay, we'll go look at this real quick. We'll go one story of these. We'll do one story of this. Still by Whispered Diaries. Alright, story 1. 6 minutes, let's go. Should be drinking water or something.
This happened on New Year's. I was home alone for the holiday, having already spent Christmas with family, and didn't have anyone to go out with on New Year's night.
Okay.
So I just kicked it back at home, had a couple beers, and watched TV the whole night.
Alright.
I watched the whole Times Square celebration, then just turned on some older holiday movies. I wasn't all that tired, and around 2 a.m. I felt like getting up and doing something, since I'd been sitting on the couch pretty much all day. I checked out the windows. It was snowing a bit, but not too much, and I knew it was cold and dark out there, but a walk just sounded really nice.
What? Oh, okay.
I grabbed my jacket and hat and gloves, and headed out to walk around the neighborhood.
2 a.m. walk? Okay.
Right away, I noticed it was surprisingly quiet outside. Even though it was 2 a.m., I figured because of New Year's, there would be parties and whatever. Yet, all the houses only had their outdoor Christmas lights on, and no cars were driving through the streets. It was just calm and empty.
Chill.
Very peaceful, actually. I'm not even too sure how long I was out there for. Obviously, I wasn't fully sober, so time was hard to keep track of. And
That is like that could be a reverse role, honestly. That could be a reverse horror story right there. Drunk man walking in night. You're probably the dangerous one. You're probably the dangerous one, yeah.
I was zigzagging through the neighborhood with no real direction or route in
Wait,
mind.
he's a villain. Oh,
Eventually, I made it to the park. It looked like the path hadn't been shoveled since that morning, but it only looked like maybe 2 inches of snow, so I just started walking down it anyway.
he's drunk.
Thought the slight change in scenery would keep the walk interesting. I walked a little ways in before realizing that not only was the snow actually getting harder to walk through, but there also weren't any lights on along the path.
Oh, it's
I'd
park.
walked it at night before, and it always had these small, sort of street lamps lining the trail, but I guess they turned them off for the winter. So after a few minutes, I turned back around.
Okay.
I dragged my feet through the snow, walking maybe a minute back the way I came, when I saw something pretty weird. There was another set of tracks going right along mine from just a few minutes ago. Someone had to have been walking right behind me, and honestly, it kind of looked like they had been following me, given that there were no shoe prints there before. But I didn't see anyone, and when I tried to see if they had turned around or where they went, I found the tracks led off the trail, going out into the dark areas that I couldn't see anything in. For all I knew,
Let me guess. Someone was walking to the forest and they saw your steps, so they pretended to mimic your steps. So it looks like two people walking, and then the moment they're near their destination, they take off. So, yeah.
there could have been someone standing just 10 feet in front of me, and I wouldn't have a clue, because it was pitch black. I quickened my pace to get out of there, but I still didn't fully think it was something to worry too much about. I admit it could have been me being tipsy and not realizing the strangeness and possible danger I was in, especially with the tracks going off the trail.
I don't know, man. Wouldn't it also be same dangerous for the other person as well? Like, imagine you're walking at night, snow, right? You see footsteps, you see foot trails, and you follow it. You don't know who you're following. Could be someone crazier than you.
And leading straight into the darkness. At the time, I tried to assume it was just some really big coincidence. I got away from there and walked further into my neighborhood, not going directly home yet. I walked for 15 more minutes.
15 more minutes.
Not that I was looking very hard, but I didn't see anyone else, so I thought by then I was all good. When I made it back home, I took all my winter stuff off and figured I'd take a shower and then hopefully be tired enough to get in bed. It wasn't until I was already halfway up the stairs that I realized how dark it was and that the upstairs lights were off. This caught me off guard because I'm the kind of person that leaves all the lights on all day. I hadn't even been upstairs since waking up in the morning.
I mean, if you leave the lights on all day, sometimes, one light just blows out because it can't handle it for so that. Might just be a blown out light.
So I definitely left the lights on up there.
You never know.
I could see how this might sound like some small thing that I fixated on, but I think even if I were fully drunk, I'd still have known that those lights were left on.
Sometimes they
I
blow out.
cautiously walked the last few steps up to the hall and looked down, then flicked the light back on. I didn't really know what I was looking for though. I walked through and just peeked my head into each of the rooms, seeing if there was anything obvious. I made sure to close each of the doors after looking, which is why after checking the last room and turning back around, I felt my heart stop. The first door right by the stairs was wide open.
Oh, someone's in your house then.
To me, that 100% confirmed that someone was inside my house right now.
Yep.
After freezing up for a few seconds, I called out asking who was there. I was scared to move. They could have been right there in that room, or had snuck downstairs and really been anywhere at this point. I remember taking slow, careful, and quiet steps down the hall.
I don't know, man. It really depends. The other person has to be armed or something, because sounds like reverse case scenario would be even worse.
all, feeling adrenaline and a sinking, awful feeling in my gut as I approached the doorway. And then I woke up. And no, this wasn't all a dream. I woke up laying on the floor in the middle of the hallway, head spinning and with a horrible migraine. I think only 10-ish minutes had passed between then and now,
Someone knocked you out.
and it was apparent that I'd been attacked and knocked unconscious, with no recollection of anything but the moments leading up to what
Bro got knocked out. That's crazy. He got knocked out. He got a little head chop to the side. You know, when they hit here, you know, boom, knocked out. Ran away. Steal that. Steal this. Gone.
whatever the hell happened. Even my vision was blurry and fading in and out.
Yeah, they nick chopped you, bro.
I called 911 right away. Whoever it was that broke in and attacked me was long gone.
Yep.
But I tried to give the police an account of everything I could remember. It still bothers me so much that a part of my memory was just blacked out like that. I likely came face to face with the guy, probably enough to get a good description of him. Hell, I might have even known exactly who it was. Yet, it's like my own head is hiding it from me. After that night, the updates were minimal, and nothing ever led to anything significant. I don't know who it was or what his intentions really were, but I wouldn't doubt it if he didn't even want me to wake up.
Get security camera. Look at the footage. Who knows? The whole thing could be fabricated. There were no footsteps. There was nobody there. You just were so drunk and bored, you just fell asleep on the ground, right? Any physical trauma to your body? No. Any footprints in your house? You know? Because if it was like snowy and wet, then they would have left footprints, no? You know what I mean? It's like wet, cold. Their shoes are going to be wet and cold, so your floor is going to be pretty obvious. So I'm going to just assume that this guy was just drunk, because lacking a lot of context, lacking a lot of evidence. Yeah, it is what it is, right, ladies and gentlemen? As you can tell, I need to go drink some coffee. I don't think we have time to do a stream, maybe. I'm not really sure, but I will see you guys later, alright? Hope you guys enjoyed that little horror story. It was pretty mundane, honestly. Gambles, delivery truck driver with a crazy guy, and this guy just being drunk out of his mind. Alright. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate it again, alright? See you guys later, alright? Bye-bye.